What's up, y'all? Will here at Schedulefly. This is another episode in our Timeless Advice series, and this comes from Scott Maitland, who is the owner of Top of the Hill Restaurant and Brewery in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. This is a passage from our first book, our first Restaurant Owners Uncorked book, which is available on Amazon, and we self-published it in 2010. And here's some advice that was relevant then and is relevant now and will always be more relevant. In fact, it may be becoming more and more relevant as it relates to the advantages you have as an independent in building out your business plan as it relates to local, intimate market knowledge and how that can be a huge advantage over the chain restaurant. So before we dive in here, couple of quick words about our sponsors. Our first sponsor is Schedulefly, and this is our podcast. We host and support this podcast, and we're thankful to do that. Schedulefly is a very simple web-based restaurant employee scheduling software. We started the business in 2007. We serve about 6,000 restaurants today. We've grown through word of mouth. We have a small team of 5 people, and the way we can support 6,000 restaurants and their 250,000 employees with an employee scheduling software, and only having 5 people is because our software is super easy to use, simple, point and click, plug and play, you're off and running. On the rare occasion people need help, we're very easy to reach for the sole reason that barely anybody ever needs help. So if you're on Excel, pencil and paper, or something like that, and scheduling ever gives you any headaches, communication ever gives you any headaches, your staff would like a very easy way to check their schedule, to try to trade shifts when they need to with manager approval, to put in their time off requests and so on, check out Schedulefly. Go to schedulefly.com. 30-day free trial, and no billing information until you're done with the trial and you decide you like it. So it's very easy to get started. Play around with it, see if it works well for you. If you need anything, we're super easy to reach. My personal cell phone is right there on the website on the trial sign-up page. I believe it's also on the Learn More page. And no contracts, no setup fees, no termination fees, just simple monthly pricing, same pricing we've had since 2007. Give us a look. We'd love a chance to serve you. Talk and ask people in your community about Schedulefly if anybody's used it. There's your word of mouth right there. See what they have to say. We built this business on simple software and legendary customer support, and we'll hang our hat on that. That's the foundation of our business and has been since we started. Our second sponsor is Flip, F-L-Y-P. You can find them at flipmoney.com, or you can find Flip in the App Store. This is something, give this a look. If you're a restaurant owner or a GM, manager, I'm telling you, this is a phenomenal benefit for your team. If you're looking to find unique, simple, but effective, powerful employee benefits, Flip is one of them. Here's what Flip is. It's a mobile banking platform, and it has a rewards-based debit card attached to it. Now, right now, Flip has a checking account and this rewards-based debit card. More products coming soon, but let's just focus on how, just as it is, it's awesome. First of all, you have no minimum balance in your checking account. You don't have to put a certain amount in to get started. There's no minimum balance. They're not going to charge you an account maintenance fee if you don't have a certain amount in there, keep a certain amount in there. You can use your debit card at 37,000 ATMs with no fee. Look, this is not a fee-based business. Banks are fee-based businesses. I've worked in a bank. I get how they operate. You either got to have a lot of money with them or you got to pay them fees. One way or the other, they're going to make their money off of you. Well, Flip's different. Okay, so you put whatever amount of money you want to have in there. Here's the thing. You have a debit card, and on your app, on your phone, on your Flip app, you have a Flip wheel, sort of like the Wheel of Fortune wheel. Every time you use your debit card, you spin that Flip wheel on your app, and you're going to win something. You're either going to win some Flip coins, which you can compile those and use those for a variety of awesome things, or you're going to win cash back. And you might win 1% cash back, 2%, 5%, 10%, 50%. You can win up to 100%, and then if you refer somebody or on that, you win up to 110%. So you can win up to 110% cash back, y'all, and it's cool. We've already had a Schedule Fly customer win 100% cash back. We had another one win 23% cash back. So you need to check out Flip. It's very easy to get started on. These are great folks that run Flip. We know them. We know the guys that started Flip. Great people. They are really trying to provide a incredible service to people that aren't used to getting incredible service, people that don't have a lot of money. Banks don't, pay much attention to those folks. Well, the people at Flip do. Not only is their product great, but their customer support, the way they treat their customers, the authenticity, the care that they treat their customers with is, lockstep with the way we do it at Schedule Fly, which is why we're so proud to have this partnership with the folks at Flip. So FLYP, flipmoney.com. Check out Flip in the App Store. Get that debit card down. All you got to do is just go in there, sign up for the account. You get the debit card. If you spend $100, well, let me take that back. Use the promo code ScheduleFly. That's important. Use the promo code ScheduleFly when you sign up. And then if you spend just $100, just spend $100 in the first 30 days, they're going to give you $20. Boom. Easy. Y'all, check it out. If you're an owner or manager, highly recommend you look at this. Talk to your team about it. If you're sitting there issuing people, money in advance of paycheck, like through Flip, you can get money early. If you got people where you're having to cut paper checks all the time, here's a way to get direct deposit set up for them. Check it out. Okay, now to our episode of Timeless Advice and Scott Maitland. We were talking about, in this passage, the importance of a really solid, well-researched business plan and how important that is to success. And this conversation got really interesting because it's not the normal response you might think for a business plan. So here's Scott. Quote, I think the business plan was extremely important, but not necessarily for why most people think it is. At the end of the day, an independent restaurant is all about your local community. If you don't understand that local community, then I think you've got real problems. I've seen very qualified operators trying to come into the Chapel Hill market from out of town. It's very clear that they just don't understand the Chapel Hill market, and that's so important. That intimate knowledge of your local market is key. I think that business plans and research need to incorporate that as much as anything else. I even made some tremendous mistakes. For example, who is going to write my menu? I'd never written a menu before, so I have my chef from D.C. and my partner from New York work on it. And they come up with a menu, and to me the menu looks weird and overpriced, but they assured me that it was great. Well, it was great for New York and D.C., but not this market. And in fact, it was considered weird, and it was considered overpriced, so we had to change it. There were different groups in Chapel Hill, the faculty, the undergrads, the grad students, the locals, but there was no place for them to intermingle, and I wanted to have a place where everybody could come together. That is counter to the advice that you would get in the restaurant business, which is typically to figure out what your demographic is and really focus on that specific demographic. If you're doing what we did, you better know your market. You better know when you're writing your menu that you're writing it for the undergraduate on a date, the grad student on a budget, the businessman who is coming in to soak up the culture, and it needs to be a menu that answers all those needs. I now have a much better appreciation for the role of the menu in a restaurant. I think everyone starting a restaurant will tell you that the menu is important, but I don't think people really understand how important the menu is. It drives everything from staffing and equipment needs to the type of customers you're going to get to the whole feel of the restaurant. So you've got to think long and hard about what it is you want to offer. Lucky for me, I'm in a town where every year we get another bite of the apple. So the first year I start in September, and I figure out by February we have to make major menu changes. We do, but it isn't until the fall of the next year that I get a whole new wave of people in town that are willing to try me out. We were able to get it going after we did that. And then I asked, give me an example of one of these restaurant operators that came in that didn't have intimate local knowledge. And here's Scott. Well, here's one. Michael Jordan hooked up with an independent restaurant group out of Chicago to start 23 Restaurant here in Chapel Hill. They have marketed themselves as a place for fathers and sons to go before the game. To be frank, I was a little nervous. They were right down the block, and I was thinking it was going to be tough to compete against that. Well, I've never seen a group that had such a scattered concept of what the restaurant was going to be about. They were advertising as the place to go before the game, but the menu didn't have a hamburger on it. Rather, they were selling $26 rabbit. I now have this theory that the bigger the city is, the farther it is away from its food, so consequently the food needs to become more and more exotic. I don't know if I'm accurate or not, but I guess rabbit seems fun and exotic in Chicago. Meanwhile, there are plenty of people here in North Carolina who remember hard times, and the only way they got to eat was to go out and shoot a rabbit. So the idea of paying $26 to have a rabbit doesn't work on many levels. It's not what you want to eat before a basketball game. It's not what this market wants. So the business plan is important from understanding how the business works, but you have to think the whole concept through from soup to nuts. The thing that the independent has that no amount of money can replace is the true understanding of the local community. A well-funded chain restaurant can blow an independent away with restaurant design, menu design, and all that stuff. But the problem is, by definition, to justify that type of capital expense, it needs to be replicatable. And that is the chain's Achilles heel. What the money can't do is it can't drill down into one community and understand what that community needs. Chains can't do that. An independent can. End quote. The chain's Achilles heel. I'll never forget having that conversation with Scott. That first interview with Scott Maitland was so full of advice and wisdom. It was well, look, he was a big part of the reason that we published our first Restaurant Owners Uncorked book. We were taking content we were getting from interviews with people like him and Dave Query and some of these other successful owners that we were lucky to serve, and we were putting it on our blog. And we realized when you talk to Scott, you want that information to get out there because it's just so good. So I still recommend this book. We published it in 2010, 12 years old. But you go buy a copy of Restaurant Owners Uncorked on Amazon, and you're going to get tons and tons of timeless wisdom and advice. Some of the stuff is dated. You know, he talks in there about how, like, they were the first restaurant to do Wi-Fi, and he had to explain Wi-Fi to his staff and things like that. That was, hard to believe, right? But 12 years ago, nobody had Wi-Fi. But this book is so full of great advice. And I don't know what it's priced. I think we have it on there for like $5 or something like that. So easy decision, good Christmas gift for your fellow restaurant friends and family and so forth. Thank you all for listening. More of these timeless advice episodes coming up, and more long-form episodes coming up after the holidays. We may get one or two in here before the end of the year, but people are busy, and I'm trying to kind of lay low on asking people for an hour of their time right now. If you're listening to this, well, you are listening to this if you hear this. If you are a fan of this podcast, that is, please give us a rating if you have a rating on your podcast, especially on iTunes. Ratings help us get more traffic here, and if there's more traffic, the more people are going to benefit. So we appreciate you. Thank you for listening. More good, great, awesome content coming soon, and y'all have a good one. See ya.